Welcome back to the Big Four podcast. The Big Ten announced their schedule last week about this time, or it was Saturday last week, but came out with their schedule. So let's go over, who got robbed, who got screwed, who got an easy road for scheduling. What do you guys think had a got a break when the scheduling, or who didn't get a break? What do you guys feel about that?
Well, to no shock to anyone, Michigan, of course, gets absolutely railed by the scheduling.
Nope.
having to play Wisconsin and Minnesota. Absolutely absurd and ridiculous.
No, it's a rivalry game. Got to have the little brown jug game. There's no excuse for that.
And, of course, Ohio State gets a little easy road. Who they have? Nebraska and some other team. Who's the other team they play?
Illinois. That's a rivalry.
Illinois, yeah. Wow.
It's a rivalry.
Yeah. So,
you wouldn't know anything about rivalries, Chris. You haven't won one in 20 years.
And, well, you're right, because MSU is not a rival. And Ohio State gets an easy road. No surprise to anybody.
Ohio State got an easy road. You don't have to play Ohio State.
No, because the Big Ten wants Ohio State in the playoffs because they want the money. That's all they care about. The season is rigged. And I take nothing out of the season because it's a rigged season. I take nothing out of it.
The teams got jobs. Other than Nebraska got jobs because they have to play both Ohio State and Penn State at their crossover games. And then Illinois. What a brutal schedule they have. Wisconsin,
yeah,
Purdue,
Rutgers,
Minnesota, Ohio State, Iowa, and Northwestern. They'll be lucky to win 2 games this year.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule playing the teams they play every year. Wow, they got jobbed.
Well, they have to play Ohio State. They don't play Ohio State.
They also get to play Rutgers, so it evens out.
No, Rutgers. I don't know if they'll win that game. Greg Schiano back to Schiano there. But then the other team that got jobbed was who was it? Who was it? Oh, Indiana. Purdue and Wisconsin in crossover games. Those are the 2 teams.
Oh no, they had to play Purdue. Oh, boo-hoo. No, I just played Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Purdue's the second best team in the West.
Okay. Well,
I have them as the third best.
Northwestern, I think, got the easiest one. I mean, they got theirs revised, and they don't play. Looking at it now, they don't play anybody good. The best team they play is Wisconsin, and they play them at home. So, I mean, they don't have. I mean, they got Maryland.
Yeah, the fans will be packing in there because that'll be a big home field advantage.
It is a big home field advantage, actually.
Yeah.
But
well, Iowa's going to have the biggest home field advantage since they can't tell the cancer patients they can't show up.
Oh boy.
I mean, he's right. Let's be honest. Really big advantage. Listen, if I was an opposing coach, I wouldn't allow my players to wave because then you're just feeding into the atmosphere. It's ridiculous.
All right.
I wonder why they're so good record-wise there. All right. From my opinion, I think Michigan State, I don't think they got a easy schedule, but they got a friendly schedule because they got Penn State and Ohio State the last 2 games of the year. That should help with confidence-wise when we roll into that game 5-1. Be pretty good. We'll think we can win. We'll lose both games, but we'll have a solid season. First season, we'll beat Michigan. We'll do the things that we do every year. So I'm glad that we got those 2 at the end of the year.
Right. A lot of people at Michigan State winning 1 game this year.
Yeah, that's where I have.
Okay. Well, talent-wise, they're better than everybody except for the top 3 in the Big Ten. They have top 3 in the Big Ten East. They have more talent than Indiana, Maryland, and Rutgers. I don't want to hear any excuses. Yes, they do. Go look at the recruiting rankings.
I don't care
How
about
many
the
wins-
recruiting
how many
rankings.
wins do you have
I care about the eye test. This is what you
I care about the eye test. Yeah, we beat Indiana last year. That's my eye test.
No, I'm going to play Mike Jones here. This is what Mike says all the time. I don't care about the recruiting rankings. I care about how good the players are.
Sure.
So
It's a mix of both, and we have great players.
Indiana players are better.
Yeah, well, people forget we were a bowl team last year, and we got everybody returning. We got a top-rate Heisman contending quarterback coming back.
Yeah, just like you're supposed to be 12-0, win the Big Ten, and go to the college football playoff a couple years ago.
I don't recall that. We have a Big Ten honorable mention running back. We got our entire offensive line back. Now, we sucked on offensive line last year, but at least we got returning starters back.
Why is it that when I bring up returning players for certain teams that you're like, oh, but the players suck, it doesn't matter?
No, I only care about returning players if your team sucked the year before. Because if your team was good and you have returning players, they always regress to the mean. That happens with every team.
Your team is 6-6.
Yeah, but we weren't good.
Yeah, they're going to regress to the mean of 1-7.
No, the mean at Michigan State was 6-6 anyway. So I mean, they're going to regress back to. That means they win 6 games every year. So that means we're going 6-2 this year. All right. How about we go into the our individual team schedules? I guess we'll start with the Buckeyes. Obviously, I'm assuming most of us have them going 8-0. But I'll just say one thing about them. And I'm sure they'll cover up a positive test to one of their big players. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to do that. But if they do get a positive test early on in the season, especially the Week 2 game against Penn State, who knows? If Justin Fields gets it, he'll be out half the season anyway.
If they have 5 positive tests in the week against Michigan, they have to forfeit. Michigan will beat them for the first time.
Actually, it's not considered a forfeit.
No, it's a forfeit. We'll be demanding.
I feel like it's the other way around. I think Ohio State would cover up that at all costs. You kidding me?
No, it doesn't matter. Our second string players will beat any other team in this conference.
No, you have to forfeit. You have a 5% rate on your team.
No.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
We won't be forfeiting. If we forfeit. Former Ohio State guys will be rolling in their green.
Ryan Day would rather commit suicide than forfeit. He would pull a freaking Jim Jones with his players, have them drink the Kool-Aid. Okay, let's move on to Michigan. What a great schedule Michigan has, and they deserve it because they always have Wisconsin in their crossover, so I don't want to hear any excuses about that. And they haven't played Minnesota in 2 years, so Minnesota was the team they were going to have.
Why do we have to play Wisconsin in our crossover every year? Why does that happen? Why?
Because it's a protected game, and they think those two are on similar levels.
I want to know, first of all, protected games should be gotten rid of in the Big Ten. They're ridiculous and absurd.
No.
Because Michigan State can
play Northwestern
every year.
We get Northwestern because they're a similar program.
It keeps older rivalries intact.
No, you get Northwestern every. If anything, it should be Minnesota. You get Northwestern, and Ohio State gets Nebraska, who hasn't been anything for the last.
Well, when they first did the games, they thought Nebraska was going to be a powerhouse.
Yeah, well, they were wrong. That's why they should get rid of this stupid thing.
No, they have to keep them because Purdue has to play Indiana every year.
No, they don't.
They have to keep them because that wouldn't be fair to Indiana or Purdue.
No, it would be fair.
No, it wouldn't.
That was the deal with splitting them up in the conference. That was the deal with splitting them up in the conference on East and West. They told Purdue and Indiana they keep their game protected.
Exactly.
No, that's ridiculous. Nobody cares about football in their school.
Yeah, well, the Purdue football team is better than Michigan this year. At least they'll have a better record than Michigan.
Well, I have Michigan at 4-4 this year.
So do I, and I have Purdue at 5-3. So.
The only reason I have them at 4-4 is because there's not going to be any fans. They'd be a 6-3 to 7-2 team. If there were fans, Wisconsin at home, they would usually win that game.
Yeah.
If they were fans, because they always keep them at home. But they're not going to be any fans, and Wisconsin's a better team.
Okay, so let me just go over them from Michigan here. I know we've been hearing the Joe Milton Heisman thing on Twitter. I'm pretty sure we heard that about John O'Korn when he was coming into quarterback.
I don't think I heard anything about Joe Milton for Heisman.
Oh, I've seen 100 things on it. Are you kidding me? It's everywhere. You know, the articles that say Joe Milton threw a 90-yard pass to himself. Those type of, Anyway.
I'm really tired of Michigan quarterbacks getting hyped up in the preseason and always disappointing. So I'd rather them shut their mouths about Michigan quarterbacks and just let them play.
Yeah, well, it's all
year,
Michigan.
Quarterbacks get hyped up and they always disappoint. And it's getting very annoying watching it.
All right, let me just go through Michigan's schedule here and give you my predictions. Minnesota, you're breaking in a new quarterback if you're Michigan. Whole new offensive line, a ton of people they have to replace. That's a loss. They're 0-1. That Michigan State game is going to be too close for comfort. They'll probably win that, but I wouldn't be shocked if Mel Tucker came in and stole a game the first year, especially week 2.
Not get ahead of ourselves.
You don't see a lot of stuff on Michigan State. Rutgers will be hiding a lot of stuff there. Bring out a couple trick plays.
I have Michigan going 3-5.
That's a very close game. Indiana, they should win that. Wisconsin, they'll lose that game. Rutgers, they'll win that game. Penn State lose. Maryland win. Ohio State lose. So they'll just go win-loss, 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 basically the entire year.
Yep, I agree.
No, I have them going 3-5.
Luke, who was it last year that Luke had Michigan going 6-6, or was that 2 years ago? I can't remember.
No, he said 5-7. He didn't say 5-7.
Yeah, because I had Army beating them. That was almost the prediction of the year.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't beat them. They lost.
Well, I have Michigan going 3-5. The only wins are going to be Rutgers, Maryland, and Michigan State.
They're going to lose to Indiana.
Yeah, so really solid Tom Allen coach with that team. A big Tom Allen guy.
He is. Oh, okay. I can't argue with that. He's a great coach.
Yes, he's a big game coach.
Yes, he is.
He's not a big game coach. They lose every big game, but Michigan won't be a big game, so that's not their win.
All right. Michigan State. Now, like I said before, I think Michigan State has one of the more friendly Big Ten schedules in terms of where the games are placed. Opening up with Rutgers, couldn't get any better than that. Or I couldn't get any worse if you lost, but couldn't get any better, at least right now. That should be a win.
I also have Michigan State going 3-5.
I think every game on our schedule, except for the last 2, are winnable games for sure. You're looking at a Michigan team coming off a loss, trying to break in a new quarterback against, you don't show a lot of tape against Rutgers. It's going to be hard for them to get prepared for the game. That's a sneaky upset pick right there. And I think our players are...
You're almost as bad as Chris when it comes to prediction.
No, well, you'll see. I know what I'm talking about. At Iowa, I gave them the loss for that game, but Iowa's just, their program's in turmoil right now. They could easily go in there and win, especially with no fans. Indiana, they should...
No, Iowa has fans.
Yeah, but not many. Doesn't even affect the game. No, nobody has fans. What are you talking about?
Iowa has fans.
No, they don't. Are you talking about the freaking cancer kids? They're going to be dead anyway. Doesn't matter.
Oh, my God.
All right. Indiana, I gave them a loss, although they could easily win that game. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. They'll beat Maryland. They'll beat Northwestern.
You have them going 8, but you can see them winning every game.
I have them going 3-5. I have them beating Rutgers, Maryland, and Northwestern, but I could see them beating Indiana as well. So that'd be 4-4.
Yeah,
that'd be the same as Michigan.
I give them a 0% chance to beat Northwestern. I think they have a shot to beat Maryland, and they'll beat.
Yeah, we beat Northwestern 31-3 last year with a horrible team.
Northwestern is returning a lot of good players.
Yeah, so are we.
They have the best kicker in the league, Pat Fitzgerald.
And
they upgraded a quarterback, Peyton Ramsey.
No, that's ridiculous. That Hunter Johnson was a 5-star recruit. You can't say they upgraded.
Yeah, he had a good season last year.
Yeah, he did. Ohio State, if we really play well, I think we have a shot in that game. Keep it close.
Move on.
Penn State will win that game. So, 8-0 is what I'm predicting for Michigan State. All right. Do we want to go over overall standings? Who's going to win the East? Who's going to win the West? What are you guys having winning the West? Because we already know who's going to win the East.
I have Wisconsin, 7-1, and Minnesota at 7-1. But Wisconsin's going to beat Minnesota, so they're going to have the tiebreaker.
I have Wisconsin as well. I have them at 7-1 for the West. I don't really know.
Yeah, I really like Minnesota.
Wisconsin gets go 8-0 though. It's probably going to come down to that Minnesota game. But they have a tough game. They have that tough game. It's at Iowa. That's the end of the year.
I feel like there's always one game a year where Wisconsin really shoots the bed. So it's going to be which one it is this year.
I think Iowa's overrated. I think they're going to be 3-5 this year. I really don't like their team. I think they're completely overrated.
I have them at 3-5 too. I have them at 3-5 too, but I think they're going to give Wisconsin a run for their money. I'll ask him the year.
Yeah, I like.
I will say that I do have my surprise of the year is Nebraska's going to go 8.
How's that surprise?
I am at 1-7.
I don't know.
I'm usually a year late on teams, so I'll be a year late on Minnesota this year and pick them to win the West.
Yeah, you were hating on them last year.
Yeah, I'm always a year late.
I have Minnesota going 8-0 and winning the Big Ten West. I think they have 2 losable games on their schedule. That's Michigan, they'll win that game, and at Wisconsin with no fans. I think
and they play Michigan first game of the year, though. So that can go either way.
Yeah, but Michigan's they have too many people to replace. They're not going to win that game. So Minnesota will beat them, and then at Wisconsin late in the year, I think this is PJ Fleck's year, and Wisconsin's always every other year, it seems like. So I'll take Minnesota to win the West. I got Wisconsin going 7-1. They got an easy schedule also, very easy. It's going to be that Minnesota-Wisconsin game that decides the West, I think. Third place, I got Purdue. I think they've got a very easy schedule too. Look at Purdue's schedule. They got Rutgers and Indiana. They're going to beat Rutgers, and in that Indiana game, those are 2 very evenly matched teams, Indiana and Purdue. That could go either way.
Purdue blew up.
No.
Northwestern's going to finish third.
No, they got Rondale Moore coming back.
Yeah, Northwestern's going to finish third because they have Peyton Landry.
I got Northwestern going 3-5 along with Iowa.
You have every team going 3-5?
No, I have Nebraska and Illinois going 1-7.
Actually, Iowa's going to finish third, but Northwestern's right there finishing fourth. They're good.
Yeah, Iowa has no chance.
Northwestern at 3-4. So what we've come to the conclusion so far in this podcast is Mike has all 14 teams in the Big Ten at 3-5.
I'll show you my standings right now. I'll send you a picture of them.
Somehow Mike has the Big Ten coming out of the conference play with more losses than they have wins.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Only conference schedule.
I have 2 teams going 8-0 and 2 teams going 7-1. So obviously, some teams are not going to be as good at the bottom.
Oh, this is the usual. There's going to be like 9-8-0 teams. Is this what
actually, I have 7 teams. I have 7 teams in the Big Ten going 8-0 this year.
Yeah.
Mike has 24 teams. Mike has 24 teams. And actually, he has every single team in the AP top 25 poll every week is going to be undefeated. Yeah, that's Mike's prediction.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, he predicted like 8-0 teams. He's like, I don't know how the playoff's going to manage this one. And they ended up being like, what?
I do that every year. What are you talking about?
I can't see any of these teams losing.
Yeah.
And they all lose.
All right. So we went through the schedules of the Big Ten. The Pac-12 has decided they're going to come back also. Should we talk about it, or do we really care about the Pac-12?
Did you see after they canceled the season, the Pac-12, Utah decided to tear down a bunch of parts of the stadium because they're building new stadiums. So they tore out the lockers. They no longer have lockers for players to use. So they're going to be in the middle of Utah in December. Outdoors changing.
I don't really care about the Pac-12 aside from my guy Jaden Daniels and Arizona State. They're going to win the Pac-12 and they're going to be in contention for the playoffs late in the year.
Yeah, let's calm down.
Yeah, well, the Big 12, the Pac-12 needs to fire Larry Scott.
I don't know what Larry Scott has to do with anything.
He's the worst commissioner.
Why? What power does a college conference commissioner have? Absolutely zero power.
I don't know, but ever since he's coming, the Pac has gone to shit, so it's his fault.
It's a fair point.
The Pac-12 network, absolutely a failure.
I think the Pac-12 is a joke, and because they only have one elite, they have one elite recruiting program right now. That's Oregon. USC's gone to shit when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah, and Washington to an extent.
Washington's okay. They're usually top 25, but they're not.
Local.
They're not top 10.
National. Washington's local. West Coast, they can get players.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see if Jimmy Lake, what he changes in terms of Washington. I think that Chris Peterson kind of got stale at the end, the last couple of years there. But I think Oregon's, there's no team that even competes right now in the Pac-12 with Oregon. Arizona State's not quite there. They're a couple of years away. By the time Jaden Daniels is gone, they'll be ready in terms of the roster. Right now, it's just not there.
They're really good.
You could say Utah, but come on. Nobody takes Utah seriously. So, yeah, I mean...
Stanford, but it's hard to recruit Stanford.
Stanford, I don't know. I mean...
They've lost it.
Yeah, I think they've lost it. I think it's such a fine line to coach.
No, well, on Stanford, they've been a solid recruiting team. The problem is they've never, it's so hard to recruit because they have to get into the school with offering scholarships.
I just think the talent hasn't been there for Stanford. They usually, especially on the offensive line, it just hasn't been what it used to be.
Yeah, they were always a development program too. They recruited 3- and 4-star guys and then developed them.
I will say they have had a lot of injuries over the past couple of years, but that style of offense, it just doesn't work anymore. Every team is changing from that style of offense. The only school that it's worked at is Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is the ultimate developing program. You have to be the ultimate developing program to run that style of offense. Yeah, so in my opinion, I think the Pac-12 is trying to get in this playoff, and the only chance they have is Oregon. I don't think another team... I think the Pac-12 has some good teams, but they don't have a playoff team besides Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's also the biggest choking program in the country, so...
That's true. I mean, if you have an undefeated Big Ten champ and you have a couple SEC teams that are up there and maybe Clemson and possibly a Big 12 team, I don't think Oregon has a shot to even make the playoff, even if they go 8-0. It's going to take a... What?
I thought they were doing a 7-game season.
Yeah, they are. But I'm assuming they're trying to get in the playoff.
Yeah. I guess I should have had the conference championship.
Yeah, the Pac-12 is also doing what the Big Ten's doing. They're doing those championship week games, 1 through, I think
you excited for the biggest game of the year, Nebraska, Rutgers?
It's going to be Illinois-Rutgers rematch. Anyways.
Imagine if we had a rivalry game. Imagine if we had a
Ohio State finishes in last place. Okay. Let's move on to the picks for this week. I guess we'll start in the best.
Wait, we're not getting into the games from last week. I wanted to talk about my Cowboys.
Oh, you want to? Okay, sure. Let's talk about some of last week's results.
I want to talk about my Cowboys.
Sure, go ahead.
Again, you were too late on me. I'm Oklahoma State.
No, this is their year. Maybe I was a little late. Still their year.
You were early on Texas A&M last year.
I might be a little early, but they're good. Spencer Sanders, as I predicted, will still win the Heisman. He got hurt last week, though, in the first quarter. And that's why the game was 16-7. You know, they got the job done with their third-string quarterback. And both of them solid teams. So that's a rivalry game, too. So that's why it was close. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make excuses for Oklahoma State every week until they start losing. They're in the Big 12. They're the best team in the Big 12. And I expect them to get a big win this week.
Okay, Desmond Howard. My God.
I think I might pick West Virginia in the upset. I did not like what I saw from Oklahoma State at all.
Yeah.
At all.
West Virginia.
No.
I'm going to take Oklahoma State just because I don't think West Virginia is very good. But I
want to talk about Clemson, or more importantly, the Citadel. What a performance in the second half by the Citadel. They asked the Citadel, but they were losing by so much. The NCAA usually wants to put in a running clock. The Citadel said, no, we're not doing no running clock. And then they held Trevor Lawrence to 8 of 9 passing for 168 yards. Great performance from their defense. They let up 0 points in the second half. 0 points.
How about this?
There's just an all-around great performance from the Citadel second half.
Luke, you know what they say, Luke? Good teams win, great teams cover. The spread was 50.5, and Citadel covered. Only lost by 49.
That's right.
I'd also like to point out the game played between two of the most big teams in college football last week, the Saturday night game between Miami and Louisville. I was high on Louisville. My mistake. They sucked. That was an embarrassing performance. I was wrong on them. I was completely on that. Miami, they also sucked. That was a fluke win. Louisville's still a better team, and they would beat them 9 out of 10 times. The coach sucked, the quarterback sucked, the players sucked.
You didn't watch the game, obviously. Miami absolutely dominated that game. The U is back. The U is back.
You didn't watch the game either because I was sitting right next to you. We were watching the Celtics game, so I don't know what you're saying.
No, you didn't watch the game, obviously. Listen, if you're a good college football fan, you go back and rewatch every single game from the weekend. And that's what I did.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's what you would.
And I saw, at least I watched the highlights of the game. But I saw that Miami just absolutely dominated both lines of scrimmage. I mean, obviously Louisville had 500 yards of offense, but who cares? Miami.
It was an off night for Louisville. Miami sucks. They're awful.
No, Miami's a very good team, and they're probably the third best team in the ACC behind Pittsburgh and behind Clemson. I don't like Notre Dame at all, if you haven't known.
Yeah, they're better than Notre Dame.
They are, for sure. Notre Dame sucks. They almost lost to freaking Duke. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, but they beat up on USF.
Speaking of Pittsburgh, I want to talk about the Fighting Pat Narduzzi's for a second here. What a game from Pittsburgh. They held Syracuse to 170 yards of offense. This is an elite defense, and they have more talent than Notre Dame. They're a better team than Notre Dame, better coach, better quarterback, better special teams. It's not even close.
Yeah, everything you just said is wrong.
No. Pittsburgh is going to the ACC championship game, and they're going to give Clemson a run for their money, and they might make the playoff if they win that game. Do you imagine Pittsburgh making the playoff? What a year that would be. Other games.
What are the picks this week? Let's go. I don't want to hear about your BS teams that you guys love.
No, let's talk about the great BC Eagles, or how about the horrible Duke team? Oh, no, what was the team I was looking for? Yeah, UCF. I forgot about them. What a win for UCF, beating a very good Georgia Tech team. So right now, I would say UCF, if they win out, they should make the playoff.
No, you're joking, right?
Mackenzie Milton's still their quarterback?
No, but he will be in a couple weeks when he comes back.
Mike, you're joking, right? There's no way you actually believe that.
No, I mean they beat a Power 5 team. What else could you want from
Yeah, they beat Georgia Tech.
If they beat Cincinnati, they deserve to be in. It's as simple as that.
No.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And Louisiana, if Louisiana wins out, they got a good chance to make the playoff also.
Okay, what are the picks?
All right.
We have some good games this week.
Yeah, we do have some good games. Let's start with a big SEC matchup. Two ranked teams, Kentucky at Auburn. Very interesting game. Auburn is favored by 7.5. Who do you guys have?
Well, I want to pick Auburn in this game, but the problem is they're just struggling this year. UAB, out of all the teams in Alabama, UAB scored the most points and has the most wins. And UAB has more wins over the Sun Belt than the entire Big 12 does this year. So, obviously, that's an embarrassment to Auburn. They're recruiting down in Alabama. I still think I'm going to have to go with them.
So you're picking Auburn?
7.5-point favorite. I think they'll cover.
Auburn and Auburn style blowout, like 19-7.
So, Luke, you're taking Auburn?
They'll cover. Yeah.
Okay.
According to ESPN, you can buy a ticket at $1,111.
Alex, who are you taking? Okay, is he not here? All right. Kentucky, very good team. They've recruited the state of Michigan very well. They have some good talent. Auburn, a lot of things to replace. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think what Chris said might happen, although I think it'll be closer. I'm thinking 16-13 Auburn.
So you don't think they're going to cover?
No, Auburn won't cover. All right. Let's stick in the SEC. Interesting game. Florida at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. First game for him. Florida overrated as usual. Who do you guys have in this one?
Well, Florida's 13.5-point favorites, but the game's down in Oxford. Sandy the Ranch, Uncle Edwards' name, is going to be down there cheering on Ole Miss. Colonel Red's been retired, unfortunately, and that can be the reason why they're going to lose. So I'm going with Florida.
You're picking Ole Miss?
Yeah, Florida. Florida's one of my playoff teams. Florida's one of my playoff teams. I think they're really good. A lot of returning pieces, great coach, great quarterback. But I think Ole Miss keeps this close. I'll take Florida, though.
Wait, Luke, you took Ole Miss.
I took Florida.
All right. I penciled you down for Ole Miss.
What I'm saying is, I would take them if they had Colonel Reb.
Nice. Yeah, I would also take him if they had Colonel Reb also, because he really gets his ducks in a line when it comes to the football players. Give me Florida, and they will cover. Florida wins and covers. Pretty simple game, although who knows? Lane Kiffin could throw something crazy out week one.
It's the Lane train.
All right. How about we go to an ACC matchup? Georgia Tech at Syracuse, two horrible teams. Why don't we pick them? Let's go. Georgia Tech at Syracuse.
I don't know. I don't give a shit.
All right, that's a no pick.
I guess I'll take Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Georgia Tech. They looked all right the first couple weeks, and Syracuse, they sucked. So I'll take Georgia Tech.
Yeah. How Dino Babers hasn't been fired yet is beyond me. He had one decent season with a good quarterback, and then they were crap last year, and they're going to be crap again this year. Give me Georgia Tech. All right. Louisville at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm thinking Pitt. Louisville showed last week that they're not very good. I'm thinking Pitt. Pitt's going to cover.
Yeah, I probably should pick Pittsburgh, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take Louisville to have a bounce-back week and get the job done in the close one.
Yeah, give me the Fighting Pat Narduzzi's. Like I said, they're probably going to go undefeated this year. I don't actually know if they play Clemson, but if they don't, they'll go undefeated. If they do, then they'll only lose one game. Give me Pittsburgh. All right. Interesting Big 12 game. 1:30 FS1, Iowa State at TCU. Iowa State is a slight road favorite. Who wins this game?
I can't go against my guy Brock Purdy and what's his face, Campbell. So I'm going to go Iowa State.
I'm going to take Iowa State too. Actually, you know what? No. Their loss to Louisiana was so embarrassing, I picked TCU.
So you like Gary Patterson?
What? I'm thinking Gary Patterson.
Oh my God, we're going to get canceled. We're going to get this podcast canceled.
Yeah. They don't care down there. They don't care. Anyways, I like TCU to win outright in this game. Iowa State, I didn't like what I saw. I mean, obviously, they're probably the better team overall, but TCU has recruited pretty well. I think they're a pretty talented team. I will take TCU. All right. Let's go down to a big rivalry game, 3:30 on Fox, Texas at Texas Tech.
Well, saying I think the Longhorns are going to go undefeated and win the Big 12, and then Sam Ellinger's going to win the Heisman, I'm going to go to Texas.
I'll take Texas big in this game. Texas Tech has been the same since Cliff left.
Yeah, well, Alan Bowman's still their quarterback, so.
No, they haven't been 5-7 since.
Yeah, they literally go 5-7 every year.
Texas.
I also agree. I think the game's going to be closer than a lot of people think. Matt Wells, very good coach.
Texas is 17.5-point favorite. The over-under 70.5. I think that's the highest of the league.
I think Texas will win, but I think Texas Tech will cover easily. The 17 number for sure. I'll take Texas, though, to win the game.
It's going to go. I think it's going to hit the under. I don't think Tech is going to score.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it might. I don't know. It's going to be close. Because I could see Texas scoring 40, 45 points. I mean, Texas Tech only needs to score 25.
All right. West Virginia at Oklahoma State. Very interesting game, for sure.
I'm going to take Oklahoma State. They're 6.5-point favorite in Stillwater.
Yep, give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't see Oklahoma State playing the way they did last week. They just came out a little, anemic offensively, obviously. The quarterback got hurt. Is he playing this week? Did you say anything about that?
I don't know. I'll look right now.
Obviously, he's big. What really troubled me was I know Tulsa was top 50 in defense last year, but they couldn't move the line of scrimmage against Tulsa last week. And I think West Virginia's probably, I don't know if they're going to be better up front, but they'll probably be similar. I'll take Oklahoma State in a close one. I think it'll be similar. I think Oklahoma State's defense is a little better this year than they have been in years past. I'll take them in a close one, like 21-14. Low-scoring game in the Big 12. Weird thing to say, but that's my prediction. Okay, very interesting game, 3:30 ESPN, Army at Cincinnati.
This is my game of the week. Chris might laugh at that, but it's my game of the week. It's kind of, two teams that pride themselves on defense. And I like Cincinnati a lot. I think they're a really good team. I think they're a top 10 team this year. I think Luke Fickell's one of the top coaches in the country. He's going to be he's not going to be looking for a job. People are going to be looking for him for a big-time job next year. And but I think Army can surprise some people. That triple option offense is hard to defend, especially if you haven't seen it before. Cincinnati hasn't seen it in a while. But I think Cincinnati will squeak it out. I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
I'm going to go Cincinnati, but
Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going with Army.
You're going with Army?
At least 30 points in this game.
I'm going Army.
That's my only prediction. Cincinnati by 30.
Listen, I don't know about Army, to be honest with you. I mean, they're ranked. Should they be ranked? Probably not. Who have they beaten? They beat UL Monroe and Middle Tennessee, and they were convincing wins, but, I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. I think Cincinnati, it'll be close. I think Army covers that number, 13.5. but I think Cincinnati wins. All right. Let's go down to interesting game here. Tennessee at South Carolina. Very interesting game. Who do you guys have winning that?
Tennessee, the 3.5-point favorites. It is down in Columbia. But I'm going to go with Tennessee. They always choke at the beginning of the year, but I'm going to go with Tennessee. It's always a tough team to pick.
Yeah, I've been tempted to pick South Carolina. This is a normal year, and they were packing the stadium, but Tennessee's a much better team. I'll take Tennessee.
Talent-wise, I think they're very similar. Obviously, Tennessee's got a very experienced offensive line, experienced quarterback. South Carolina, they got that Colorado State transfer in at quarterback. He beat out Ryan Helinski. I think South Carolina, this is my upset of the week. I'm taking South Carolina, week 1, to upset Tennessee, who I think might be a little overrated this year. Okay. Florida State at Miami, rivalry game, so we have to pick it. Miami's 11-point favorites. This is the Saturday night game. Who wins?
Any news on Florida State's coach? He still got COVID?
Yeah, he's not coaching this week, I don't believe.
All right, I'm going to go with Miami. I think they suck.
Yeah, you're going to force me to take Miami here. I'll take them. This is great of a Saturday night football game.
Yeah, we're in week 2 of the Mike Norvell era, and it's already on the brink. I thought they couldn't get any worse than when they had Willie Taggart in terms of just how the program looked. You can't lose a lead to Georgia Tech. You can't do it. And what made it worse was Georgia Tech then came out the next week and got blown out by UCF. Florida State, it baffles me. It really does. They have the talent. The talent's there. They just never put it together. They haven't been able to do it since Jimbo ran that program into the ground. Nobody's been able to pick it up.
He's a great developer player.
No, he had top 5 recruiting classes. That wasn't the problem. Yes, they were able.
About player development.
No, the problem wasn't, or player development wasn't the reason why they won. It was because they got talented players in there.
No, player development and in-game coaching.
Yeah, a true freshman, Jameis Winston. Yeah, that's just great player development right there.
It was player development.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyways.
How was it player development when you were the freshman?
The development throughout the year and in camp.
All right.
Okay.
That's just not how it works. Anyway, I'm taking Miami to win and cover for sure. I think this will be pretty embarrassing. All right. NC State at Virginia Tech. NC State got a big win against their arch rivals last week, Wake Forest. Virginia Tech, people are high on them this year. Very experienced team. Who will win that game?
Virginia Tech 7-point favorites. I think they'll win and I think they'll cover.
Yeah,
they'll win by 2
cover.
touchdowns, a field goal, and a safety.
Winning cover, I agree. Virginia Tech.
Yeah, the program for Virginia Tech has slid slowly downwards since Justin Fuente's first couple years. This is the last year I think they're going to be decent. I think they're going to be back to mediocre in the next couple years, but they've got a very experienced team. Virginia Tech wins this game. All right, so those are the picks for this week. Anything else to say before we call it quits?
Yeah, we didn't even pick the best games of the week, Mike.
What's that?
Let me find it here.
What, you want to pick Kansas at Baylor?
No, you're at LSU and Mississippi State, but that's a good game. That's by you and Liberty.
Maybe.
But,
I mean,
UCF and East Carolina. That's the biggest game of the week.
well, I was going to say it, but I realized that East Carolina's like 8 years.
Over under 77. It's the highest of the week. I thought Texas Tech would be the highest of the week, but no. UCF, East Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. about ECU's chance there. UCF's a top 5 team in the country, so I don't know.
All right, that's enough.
All right. Thank you for watching this episode of the Big Four podcast. We will see you next week. And as we get closer to the start of the Big Ten season, we'll get more in depth into the Big Ten schedules and teams. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.